Excellency, thank you for accepting this meeting, this interview. For us it's very important to be with you for a while and to have some support, some ideas, some conversation which can guide us. You are a great personality because of what you have done, of course, but also because you bring this notion of peace to people and, of course, the Nobel Prize. We have prepared a few questions, but it could be done, this interview, in a very easy way, just to talk. You will be talking in a few hours in UN, in the UN Palace in Geneva, about the peacemaking, about the complexities of peacemaking. Or very often the peacemaking and the peace in the world is linked to water availability. The stress of water is very much important issue, and what is your vision on this? Is there a link between water and peacemaking?
I can answer that by share a story. A few years ago, I was attending Mass church, open air, in a very Catholic town in Timor Leste, where I grew up, where I studied. The three bishops of Timor Leste were there in that Mass, in a beautiful mountain area. And I was asked to talk after the Mass. The issue I touched on in my speech was on environment, including on water. And I told the people of Timor-Leste, if you people do not listen to me when I tell you not to waste water, not to destroy our forests, not to throw garbage everywhere. 20 years from now, we will be killing each other over water, over land, over resources. But fortunately, 20 years from now, I will not be here because I'll be long gone, dead. I will be in heaven as one of the advisors to God. And when you are killing each other here on earth, because God knows I'm from Timor-Leste, He asked the different people in heaven, wherever they are from. So when He has to deal with an issue, He asked John Paul II, for instance, to deal with issues of the church on earth first. So he asked me, José Ramos Horta, you are from Timor-Leste, what should I do? I will tell God, let them kill each other, because I told them 100 times not to destroy the environment, not to waste water, not to pollute our water, not to dump every garbage into the rivers, into the sea, and they didn't listen. That's what I told them for this. And the bishops were, of course, they thought it was amusing that I took for granted that I would be going to heaven. But the common people got my message. While president, I launched a program every Friday from 7, 8 in the morning till midday. I got all my staff, more than 100, to clean the city of garbage, clean the beaches, the rivers. The government joined, and the Prime Minister instructed all the civil servants, thousands of them, to do the same, to clean the city. It's public health issue to reduce cholera, malaria, dengue, to clean up our waters, because the more garbage in your backyard, the more chance of polluting the underground water. And I thought that was also educational, pedagogic. I launched programs of tree planting in one day. One program I launched, I mobilized 30,000 students. We planted 40,000 trees on the hills around the capital, and have done it elsewhere around the country. But the problem, solutions are not easy to find. For instance, we plant trees in my country, and you know what happened? The pigs, the goats, the cows, they go and eat the nice fresh trees you just planted, because our animals roam freely. You know, they are not kept, and difficult to tell people, you know, to keep your animals locked up. So you have to be creative, imaginative. So my answer to your question is yes, absolutely. As much as over decades in the past, big and small powers fought over strategic mineral resources, some of the root causes of conflicts now, particularly in Middle East, has to do with water. You talk to the Israelis, Jordanians,
Right.
It has to do with water, and it will be increasingly elsewhere in the next decades to come. And by then it will be too late, because it's a finite resource as well as the ice caps in the Himalayas, in the Tibetan plateau melt. First you have floods, and then one day followed by a prolonged drought.
Yeah. Thank you. You partially answered to my next question, which is very good, but let's go a little bit on the same topic. How is the water issues addressed now in Leste?
I have to say, embarrassingly, not much. There is not a single house in Timor-Leste, and I apologize, I confess, even mine, that is built in order to capture rainwater. The rains come from November till February, March, April, sometimes even later, and washed everything into the sea. The country is very mountainous, so can you imagine the full force of the waters coming down at the 40% inclination degree, washing the topsoil, pushing garbage into the sea, cleaning up the topsoil that make the soil less and less proper for agriculture. And with more and more people in the city, you have the water plateau becoming, hopefully, it will be a long time, but becoming more and more poisonous, dirty. When you don't have a proper sewage system, people do things in their backyard as they please. The Prime Minister, Xanana Guzmão, promised a few years ago to build dams around the country to capture rainwater, but I haven't seen one. But I hope that the government has not given up on that vision to build dams all over the country to capture rainwater for agriculture, for basic necessities. I have to say, we do waste water in my country. The water that is supplied by the city is good water, a system that was built by the Japanese. The water is treated, you can actually drink it, but it is that same water that we use for everything. The common people use it for drinking, as for washing their clothing, and even irrigating, their vegetable garden.
Yes, the situation in East Timor, unfortunately, is similar to many other places which are rich in water, in rainwater, but in fact the population suffers from acceptable access to this water. Do you think there are some political solutions, for example, awareness raising for the population, good examples of rainwater catchments, something which could be done to introduce rainwater harvesting in the policy of the country?
Yes, definitely. It requires strong vision, clear vision, political leadership, budget allocation, plus education at all levels. In the schools, at home, the parents teach their children from day one on how to preserve the environment, how to preserve water. In the schools, the school teachers, leaders, educate the children, the students, to plant trees, gardens. The school itself to be self-sufficient by capturing rainwater, so that they use the rainwater for the irrigation, for the toilets, for everything. In the village, in the community, so from the house all the way up to national level, it has to be a national cause. And that is possible, but it requires strong leadership and patience, and sometimes harsh measures. Fine for those who waste water. Maybe some draconian model of Singapore where people are fined. People joke of Singapore, it's called fine city. You can fine because fine is nice, yeah. But because you are fined for everything. But look at Singapore, it's a garden. And people were educated through words, but also through punishment. That means fines. Yeah. If if you should pay a fine for parking in the wrong spot, why shouldn't you be fined for wasting water? So I would say, let's do like the fine city-state of Singapore, because in some our countries, I have to say, my own country, our people deserve to be finest, meaning even more draconian, because here you had the president of the country, Ramos Horta, Nobel Peace Prize Laureate. Every Friday myself, I just don't tell my staff to do it, I go with my hands, cleaning the streets, the beaches, television show it, and hoping that people will look at it, they'll be inspired. No, it didn't help much. Just ask the civil servants. I talk harshly to the communities, to the parents, and still they don't listen. So you require very strong leadership, and leadership has to be backed up by some legal measures whereby there is punishment for wasting natural resources. I even organize competitions in the barrios for which is the cleanest. The cleaners would get $1,000 cash to do with whatever they want, plus the diploma. Of course, that was partially successful, but it has to be ongoing, continue, until such a time when, look at Switzerland, it's very normal, automatic for people to know you don't throw garbage everywhere. Even in Europe, let's say Portugal, 30, 40 years ago, Lisbon was a very dirty place. You see garbage everywhere. Manhattan, where I lived, much better now, but 20, 30 years ago. So it is through education and then people learn, plus organization. So, but in our chaotic third world countries, it's not so easy. That requires even a stronger, steady leadership.
You are right, and you mentioned many things which are very, very close, very important in our work. You know that we work for the International Rainwater Harvesting Alliance, and one very important part of our work is called the Blue Schools. Now I wish also to speak about poverty. Do you think that rainwater harvesting could be useful for people to elevate from this tragic situation, poverty?
Well, definitely. Access to clean water is one of the elements, benchmarks on poverty reduction, on poverty elimination. One of the characteristics of extreme poverty that affect hundreds of millions of people around the world is precisely lack of access to clean water. You know, water that is a God-given gift to humanity is not accessible to hundreds of millions of people. So if we were to be able to have every single family throughout the world, in parts of Latin America, in Asia, Africa, just to have access to clean water, that alone would be a measure of progress in terms of extreme poverty elimination. Water harvesting and through the work you and your coalition are doing, which I believe is not only an engineering work but also a pedagogical work, will go a long way in helping meeting the Millennium Development Goals that for most countries will not be achievable by 2015. So we're already talking about the post-2015. I hope that and it is doable, let's say by 2030, every household in poor developing countries will have clean water.
Access. And this includes also rainwater as a collection system also
Yes, certainly. I mean that in the sense that to meet the requirements of clean water, you have to be able to access rainwater as well.
Thank you.
And because in many countries they don't have a possibility to access municipal water in communities. They don't have a possibility of proper groundwater.
Right.
But the rainwater is free. It is there, and it doesn't require a huge investment. Just some creative technology, creative ideas that can be done by the community themselves, and at least guarantee water for 3 months of the year. I have seen in Guinea-Bissau a Dutch organization, very simple, helping building water tanks to capture rainwater, and that rainwater, after 3 months of storage in absolute dark, becomes cleaner, better than spring bottled water from France.
Yes, we know also cases like this. Speaking about Guinea-Bissau and other countries, but about Guinea-Bissau, do you think that we could build up a policy for rainwater harvesting which will help the improvement of the poverty in this country?
Guinea-Bissau is a lucky country in some sense. It has everything. When God created earth and when he came to Guinea-Bissau, he didn't forget anything. They have plenty of water, rivers, rainfall every year from the period of May, June till September, October, November, rain a lot. The whole country is green. But then the rest of the year, many parts of the country that didn't save rainwater, they have difficulties collecting water for drinking. And Guinea-Bissau has a lot of possibilities. They have all kinds of possibilities for agriculture. They have fruits, the best mangoes in the world ever I found in Guinea-Bissau. The best oysters, shrimps, fisheries, timber, you find it there. But then one basic commodity, that's clean water, sometimes in the course of the dry season, that goes from now November till the next rainy season, April, May. Many people have difficulties, they have to walk miles to look for clean water for drinking. So Rainwater Coalition can really help remote communities. And particularly now, as we are approaching elections, a new government will come into place mid next year latest. They will develop, and I'm helping them developing a strategic development plan for the country, followed by a pledging conference, a roundtable conference with European Union and others to finance the reconstruction development of the country. Yes, rainwater harvesting will be, should be in their strategic plan.
Some countries have already built their national strategy for rainwater harvesting, and this could be a good example also for Guinea-Bissau and for other countries. And we are coming gently to our last question. I will come again to the topic, your topic of today, peace, and how to bring peace to our planet. Do you think rainwater harvesting can help this peaceful process which is going?
Well, obviously, in the sense that if we talk about preventing the causes of future wars that can happen in 20, 30, 50 years from now, when communities and entire nations go to war because of water, it means that if rainwater harvesting, deploying every effort now to address this potential source of conflict, then
Yes.
we would have prevented, saved communities or entire nations from catastrophic and tragic, sad, when people have go to war because of water. So in that sense, yes, the coalition can help.
Mr. President, thank you very much for this interview. It is a pleasure, but it is also very, helpful for our work, not only ours of the International Rainwater Harvesting Alliance, but all people who are engaged in this process, development, water, access to water. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I wish you success to the Rainwater Harvesting Alliance to continue the exceptional work you are doing to help reducing and or eliminating extreme poverty through rainwater harvesting. to prevent conflicts in the future, precisely by enabling communities where there's shortage of water historically to access this God-given wealth, which is rainwater. I thank you and God bless you.
Thank you.